Imagine there's a version of you living just 5 years in the future. In this reality, you took the risk, you started the business, you asked for the promotion, you wrote the book, or you finally committed to that life-changing habit. Now imagine a second version, the one who stayed exactly where you are right now, because the thought of it not working out was too heavy to carry. Which version keeps you up at night? Most people think the greatest tragedy is failing, but the real silent killer of dreams is the paralysis of what if. We're biologically wired to avoid threats, but in the modern world, our brains can't tell the difference between a hungry lion and a rejection email. This glitch in our evolutionary hardwiring is exactly why you feel stuck. If you're tired of being your own biggest obstacle and you're ready to recode your brain for massive growth, you're in the right place. We're going to deconstruct the anatomy of fear and give you the literal blueprint to becoming failure-proof. Before we dive into the psychology of why your brain is lying to you, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. By joining this community, you're signaling to yourself that you're done playing small and ready to invest in your own evolution. Now, let's get into the first layer of the cage, why we are actually more afraid of success than we realize. 1. The anatomy of the safety cage. To break the fear of failure, we first have to understand what it actually is. Most people think it's a lack of courage. It's not. It's a sophisticated defense mechanism called loss aversion. The psychology of loss. Economists and psychologists have proven that the pain of losing $100 is twice as powerful as the joy of gaining $100. Apply that to your life. The loss of your current comfort, your ego, or your reputation feels far more dangerous than the potential gain of a dream life. Social survival. In ancestral times, being wrong or failing the tribe meant exile. Exile meant death. The spotlight effect. We overestimate how much people notice our failures. Truth, most people are too busy worrying about their own failures to notice yours. The perfectionism trap. Perfectionism is just fear of failure in a tuxedo. It's a way of procrastinating by saying, I'll start when I'm ready. Spoiler alert, you will never be ready. Growth happens in the messy middle, not the polished beginning. Bridge phrase. But understanding the biology is only half the battle. We need to look at how this fear actually manifests in your daily routine without you even noticing. 2. Recognizing the symptoms of self-sabotage. Are you actually working or are you just busy? Fear of failure is a master of disguise. It often looks like productivity. 1. Procrastination as protection. If you don't finish the project, it can't be judged. If it's never judged, you can't fail. This is a subconscious loop that keeps you safe but stagnant. 2. Over-researching, analysis paralysis. Reading 50 books on a topic without taking one action step isn't learning, it's a stalling tactic. You're gathering information to soothe the anxiety of the unknown. 3. Setting safe goals. If you set goals you know you can hit, you're not succeeding, you're just repeating. Real success requires a failure margin. If you haven't failed at something in the last 6 months, you aren't growing. Bridge phrase. Now that we've identified the symptoms, let's look at the historical giants who used failure as a literal fuel source. 3. The reframe. Lessons from global icons. We often see the finished product of success and ignore the graveyard of attempts underneath it. Case study, Thomas Edison. Edison didn't just fail a few times, he failed 1,000 times while inventing the light bulb. When a reporter asked how it felt to fail 1,000 times, he famously said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. The light bulb was an invention with 1,000 steps. This is reframing. He turned a negative outcome into data. Case study, J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a multi-billion-dollar franchise, it was rejected by 12 major publishing houses. She was a single mother living on welfare. To her, failure was already her reality, which actually gave her the freedom to stop fearing it. When you have nothing to lose, you become dangerous. The Silicon Valley fail-fast philosophy. In the tech world, pivoting is a badge of honor. A failed startup is seen as a tuition fee paid to the school of experience. If investors see someone who has failed and learned, they're often more likely to fund their next venture. Bridge phrase. But how do you actually apply this to your own brain when the stakes feel high? We need a tactical system. The 5-step blueprint to stop holding yourself back. This is the how-to section. Grab a notebook because these 5 shifts will change your trajectory. Step 1. Define your cost of inaction. Usually, we only calculate the risk of doing something. We forget to calculate the risk of not doing it. Exercise. Write down exactly where you will be in 3 years if you stay afraid. The regret of a life unlived is a much higher cost than the embarrassment of a failed attempt. Shrink the minimum viable action. Fear lives in the macro. Confidence lives in the micro. Don't try to start a business. Instead, buy a domain name. Don't try to write a book. Write one shitty page. By making the task too small to fail, you bypass the brain's amygdala, the fear center. Use the 10-10-10 rule. When you feel the sting of failure, ask yourself, will this matter in 10 minutes? Will this matter in 10 months? Will this matter in 10 years? Most failures don't even survive the 10-month mark. Separate identity from outcome. This is the biggest hurdle. You must realize I failed is not the same as I am a failure. One is an event, the other is a label. Treat your life like a scientist treats an experiment. An experiment that doesn't work isn't a bad experiment. It's just more data. The worst-case scenario audit. Actually sit down and visualize the absolute worst thing that could happen. Usually it involves a bit of embarrassment or a temporary loss of money. It rarely involves death or total ruin. Once you name the monster, it loses its power over you. Bridge phrase. Once you've implemented these steps, you'll notice something strange happening to your confidence levels. 5. Building failure immunity through exposure. Think of fear like a muscle. If you never lift anything heavy, your courage muscle stays weak. To break the fear of failure, you need exposure therapy. Rejection therapy. There's a famous challenge where individuals go out and ask for things they know will be rejected. Example is asking for a Burger King refill at a Starbucks. Why? To desensitize the nervous system to the word no. The failure resume. Standard resumes list your wins. I want you to create a failure resume. List your biggest mistakes, the projects that flopped, and the lessons you learned from them. You'll realize that your biggest periods of growth always follow your biggest failures. Bridge phrase. This leads us to a massive realization about the nature of the path to success itself. 6. The gap and the gain mentality. Many people stay stuck because they are focused on the gap, the distance between where they are and where they want to be. This creates a permanent state of feeling not enough, celebrating small wins. To combat the fear of not being good enough, you must measure backward. Look at where you were 12 months ago. Even if you haven't hit your big goal, the skills you've gained are yours forever. The skill stacking secret. Every time you fail, you acquire a micro skill. Maybe your first YouTube channel failed, but you learned how to edit video. Maybe your first relationship failed, but you learned how to communicate. Success is just a result of stacking enough failure-acquired skills until you become undeniable. Bridge phrase. But what if the fear isn't just in your head? What if it's the people around you? 7. Curating your environment for risk. You cannot become a risk taker if you are surrounded by safety-first thinkers. The crab mentality. When one crab tries to climb out of the bucket, the others pull it back down. Notice who in your life gets uncomfortable when you talk about your big goals. Finding your growth pod. Surround yourself with people who are also failing. When you see others survive failure, it gives you social permission to do the same. Bridge phrase. We are reaching the most critical part of this journey, the moment of decision. 8. The future of you, a prediction. If you don't break this fear now, the world will make the choice for you. In an era of AI and rapid change, the safest thing you can do is become someone who is comfortable with being uncomfortable. The people who will win in the next decade are not the ones with the most information, but the ones with the highest adaptability quotient. And you cannot adapt if you are afraid to make a mistake. Your final action step. I want you to pick one thing, just one, that you have been putting off because you're afraid of the outcome. Commit to doing the minimum viable version of that thing within the next 24 hours. Don't worry about it being good, just worry about it being done. 9. Conclusion and final call to action. Breaking the fear of failure isn't about becoming fearless. It's about feeling the fear, acknowledging its presence, and moving anyway because your mission is more important than your comfort. You are not the person who stayed in the cage. You are the person who realized the door was never locked in the first place. If this video shifted your perspective, let me know in the comments. What is one failure you're actually grateful for? Your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to read to take their first step. Don't forget to like this video if you found value in this deep dive, and subscribe for more strategies on high-performance living and psychological mastery. The version of you 5 years from now is waiting. Go meet them. I'll see you in the next video.